Hello everybody, Tyrone the God 3 here, and welcome to my Valentine's Day video that I made after Valentine's Day. Sorry about that. Anyway, this Valentine's Day video, I decided to make a top 5, and this top 5 more specifically is of my top 5 favorite anime couples. Now, the top 5 anime couples, I made this list because there is a lot of character interaction between two characters that usually are either A, shipped together, or B, they're already in a canonical relationship. Now, the thing about this is, how does that relationship affect the entire series as a whole, as well as how the series reflects on that relationship and how powerful it is. And those are the things I took into consideration when making this list. So, without further ado, let's get started. Number 5. Now, I know this is going to be a cop-out, and this is the only shipping one on the entire list. And the reason it's on the entire list is, well, I'll explain. And that's why it's number 5 as well. Poke and Amore shipping. Now, I know what you're thinking. What? How dare you put two shippings on the exact same playing field? Two shippings that usually have a big rivalry in the fandom, by the way. There's a lot of people who are for Poke shipping and are against the Amore shippers for the very idea of the Amore shipping because of Poke shipping, and vice versa. Most people believe that Misty is Ash's true girlfriend, while others believe that Serena is Ash's true girlfriend. While in the series, Ash isn't dating canonically either of them. Yeah, we got pretty far with Serena and the kiss, but honestly, Ash isn't in a solid relationship with neither of these women, so they're both on here strictly due to the fact that Ash has been shipped with a lot of females before, but I think that Ash's shipping with Misty and Serena are the two most believable for their own respective reasons. Ash and Misty shipping, also known as Poke shipping, is a very important shipping because it's a shipping that not only shows probably from some of the first two anime boy and girls being in a somewhat relationship that revolves around the entire series, but it's also one of the most realistic. Ash's relationship with Misty isn't all lovey-dovey. If anything, it's mostly full of spite of each other. The two are constantly at each other's throats, arguing and disputing to the point where it's been a revolving joke that they're basically like an old married couple. This is why they work so well. It's the classic tsundere type of relationship that we've seen in Pokemon, but most of us were so young that we didn't even know what the term tsundere meant, or we just didn't know that opposites attract at this point, and that these two are perfect candidates of being in a solid relationship due to their odd disagreements, which are ironically the agreements that make for such a good team. When it came down to it, they did care about each other, they just didn't see eye to eye from times. As far as the Amore shipping goes, this takes a completely different turn, with Serena falling completely head over heels for Ash, but it wasn't just her falling head over heels for Ash. Her affections towards Ash and her feelings towards Ash actually legitimately made her a much better character for it. It gave her something to strive for and shoot for, and that allowed her to become a Pokemon performer later on. This allowed her to grow as a person, and she even admits that toward the end of Pokemon X, Y, and Z. Obviously, because Serena's did the kiss scene with Ash, whether it was on screen or not, or whether it was on the lips or on the cheek, this is the closest that a female has ever gotten to Ash canonically in terms of relationship-wise. So it's on here. The only reason that these two are both tied and are at number 5 is because they're not solid relationships. Everything else in the countdown is a solid relationship from here on in, and they're canonical relationships within the relationship of the entire series. Number 4. Asuna and Kirito from the Sword Art Online series. I know a lot of people don't like Sword Art Online, and there's a large half of other people who actually really do like Sword Art Online. To me, Sword Art Online is the grand result of what I like to call beautiful, beautiful garbage. It looks really nice, the presentation is really well done, the animation is off the charts, and the music is off the chain. Unfortunately, the story is lacking and the character interactions are somewhat lackluster, with the exception of Kirito and Asuna. See, the reason that I like Kirito and Asuna here is the exact same reason why I like Ash and Misty. The relationship felt really realistic. Asuna didn't really want much to do with Kirito at the very beginning. They just somehow wound up meeting each other a lot. Now, granted, I will admit Asuna made a complete 180 after she ended up dating Kirito, but everything leading up to that was a solid opposites attract deal. Asuna having infatuation for Kirito, and Kirito doing the same but not really showing it, showed a more realistic terms of how two people would actually meet. The circumstances in which they meet up are very believable and makes them a very realistic couple when they work together as a team. The only reason that they're so low on the list is because this relationship kind of escalates in a very quick fashion, and the series does at least take the time to work on this character development, almost to the point where they make a complete slowdown once they finally start dating and even decide to get married. A lot of these stages that they took in their relationship is kind of fast for them too, especially considering that they're both about, high schoolers? But regardless, it's still a good relationship nonetheless. Number 3, Usagi and Mamoru Chiba from Sailor Moon. I gotta say, growing up watching Sailor Moon, this relationship seemed very odd to me. Mostly because Mamoru Chiba didn't appear enough times for me to really care that he was Tuxedo Mask or that he was having a growing relationship with Usagi. I just didn't care, as a kid at least. Growing up, though, I actually got to see this relationship happen, and more or less I was unimpressed, at least until Mini Moon came into the picture. Why was I impressed when Mini Moon came into the picture? Because it was the first real, believable, realistic patch in a relationship that I ever got to see in anime history. Usagi actually gets jealous that Mamoru is treating Mini Moon so well, treating her with such attention, and basically those two end up growing a really high connection. Yeah, Usagi is jealous of her own daughter. I know, it sounds very petty, but at the exact same time, it is believable. This was the first time I seen a relationship in anime fall apart, strictly due to the fact that one of the characters in that relationship is actually getting jealous, having an attitude about things. This makes the relationship a lot more three-dimensional, and when they work out those rough patches, it definitely makes the relationship grow and flourish. I gotta say that this couple works really well, considering also that they both fight the exact same enemies, and as Tuxedo Mask, Mamoru Chiba actually inspires Usagi to become a lot better when she's in her fights as Sailor Moon. This makes her a lot more of a powerful character and connects the two together. Number 2. Naruto and Hinata, Naruto series. This relationship is a bit weird for me. See, the reason that I put this on the list and the reason I put this so high on the list was how it all started. Now, obviously, Naruto and Hinata are two characters that were bound to be together at some point because the series even makes an effort to have Hinata flirt with Naruto on almost every instance. Not openly, but you did see the fact that Hinata had some attraction to Naruto. She liked Naruto from the very beginning. And Naruto, a man that literally had nothing when he was growing up as a kid, grew into a kid that ended up having tons upon tons of friends by the end of the series, not just from the Elite Village, but from several other villages. Someone who's brought so many people together and made such a huge difference needs to have a love interest as well. And while it was clear that some people were rooting for Naruto to be with Sakura, it was also clear that it was a bit too predictable in the sense that Naruto would actually end up in a relationship with a girl who didn't want anything to do with him at the beginning of the series, but then slowly gains attraction to him as he goes off to search and pursue of Sasuke. What changed this entire relationship around and made it a lot better than the Naruto-Sakura potential relationship is the fact that Hinata grew as a character, much like Serena did when I discussed her in the number 5 spot. However, Hinata grew dramatically. She started taking risks, and the entire part of her relationship and her story arc was her becoming an acceptable ninja so that Naruto can see her in his eyes. Hinata couldn't even speak to Naruto for like the first half of the series and couldn't have real conversations with him, and it took all of those things that they went through in order for Hinata to grow as a full legitimate character and be one with Naruto. And the scene where they finally decide to get together and get married is absolutely beautiful. And number 1, Gohan and Videl. This is my favorite relationship in history, anime history. I know there's a lot of anime that do relationships a lot better. There's even anime dedicated to relationships. So how can the anime that literally does the worst when it comes to relationships, Toriyama himself even said he doesn't do relationships very well, how can this relationship flourish so well and be on such a top spot in this list? Well, Dragon Ball Super is actually to thank for that. Gohan's relationship with Videl starts off in Dragon Ball Z, which starts off very much like Misty and Ash, and very much like Usagi and Mamoru's, with a very tsundere type of relationship. But I think it works really well here, considering how strong these characters are. For a writer who doesn't do relationships well, this relationship was done extremely well unintentionally. Out of all of the relationships I see in Dragon Ball, Goku Chi-Chi, Vegeta Bulma, Krillin 18, and all of those, this is the most believable to me. This is the one that makes the most sense. Every time I see Gohan and Videl on screen and watch them do things, I instantly get the sense that this is the most fitting and real relationship. And the reason I get this is because the two act legitimately as a team. They know what each other's been through. Even in the Buu saga, when Videl figured out that Gohan was the one to defeat Cell and not Mr. Satan, she comes to a term of relief. And she comes to a term of closure and just starts to become attracted to Gohan due to the things that were being honest. Gohan was a liar at the beginning of the relationship, but that was only because he was doing it to protect Videl's sake. It's clear that Gohan started becoming attracted to Videl around the time that she was fighting with Spopovich. So it was very clear that Gohan and Videl's relationship had a start and a finish, and it was all very well said, done, and transitioned. It was very progressive. Not to mention, this is the one type of relationship where them doing the nasty, if you will, actually saved our planet Earth, because of the ending result of it was Pan being pregnant. Well, with Videl, being pregnant, so that Goku can turn Super Saiyan God. So there you go. But with that said, what's your favorite relationships in anime history? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Have a great Valentine's Day or after Valentine's Day, and enjoy all that candy. So, see you all then, everybody. Tyrone the God 3 out. Love ya.